New tonight, fresh accusations the White House is not being honest much or how little President Obama has been directly involved in the launch of Obamacare. Welcome to the Kelly reporting from Los Angeles tonight. In less than 48 hours, Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius will be back in front of Congress. She's expected to be grilled on a new report that she did not have a single one-on-one meeting with President Obama in the 3.5 years leading up to the rollout of Obamacare. How can that be? The White House slamming that report, saying the President and Secretary Sebelius have had countless meetings, but so far refusing to provide any dates, times, or topics. Now, why is that? Marc Thiessen is a fellow at the American Enterprise Institute and a former speechwriter for President George W. Bush. Marc, do you buy it? Countless?
Well, maybe, I don't know, but they got to put out the information. I mean, Jay Carney was actually out there in the press briefing the other day, and he said, look, there's lots of meetings that happen that are not on the record. I just had 2 of them yesterday. Well, that's actually not true. Every single meeting the president has, or anyone who has with him, is recorded. It might not be in the public record, but there is something called the White House Diary. There's a room outside the Oval Office called the Outer Oval, which is where the president's secretaries and his personal aides stay. And every visitor who comes through the White House and comes in to meet with the president goes through the Outer Oval. And the Outer Oval staff record everyone who walks into the Oval Office, how long they spent there, who was there, what was discussed. They record every phone call the president makes, who he talked to for how long. They even record his bathroom breaks. And they send all this information to the National Archives. Yeah. It's kind of creepy, but they do it. I mean, literally, they write into the log, vacating. That's what's in the record.
No, they do not.
They do. I'm not kidding you. That's the word. We used to joke about it. And so,
wow, and maybe the president was right about this being the most transparent administration ever. But yeah. Wait, so there is a log. It's the Outer Oval log that would tell us exactly who visited with the president and when.
Exactly.
Is that public, or is it at least used to answer questions being asked by the public?
Well, first of all, what happens is they take that log and they send it to a career employee of the National Archives who's called the White House Diarist. And that person is responsible for keeping a meticulous, minute-by-minute record of the presidency for future generations, for posterity, for scholars, and all the rest. So if they're sending a record of the president's bathroom breaks to the National Archives, they certainly can they're sending how many times he met with Kathleen Sebelius. And the fact is that's not put out like the press record is. But when Jay Carney says, well, I don't have the numbers for how many times he met, all he has to do is walk 20 paces to the Outer Oval and ask them, how many times did Kathleen Sebelius come in to meet with the president? And they could plug it into the computer and tell him in 2 seconds.
Why wouldn't they do that? What is the reason to not do that?
The only reason would be as if it was a really embarrassing number. So I don't know. They're going to have to do it. But look, the fact is this record exists. And if what they're saying is true, that he had dozens of one-on-one meetings with Kathleen Sebelius in the Oval Office, or anywhere for that matter, there is a record of it in the Oval Office, in the White House, and eventually at the National Archives, which is kept by the White House Diarist. So all they have to do is look into it.
Ms. Sebelius came out tonight with a statement to us saying that she's been to the White House countless times since becoming secretary. She's frequently at the White House for meetings relating to Obamacare, including dozens with the president in the last year alone. In fact, she met with the president just last Thursday, but they don't get more specific than that. What do you think is really going on here, Marc? Because they tried to tamp down the story. Some other person on Capitol Hill said, look, I will personally attest that I've been in several meetings with Ms. Sebelius and the president, and so we don't know who's telling the truth and who's not. But why wouldn't they just say, all right, we checked the Outer Oval logs. She's been there 60 times. Your theory is that she hasn't been there enough, and what? This speaks to a narrative of President Obama being disengaged or Kathleen Sebelius not doing her job.
Well, it could be either. I mean, look, if the President of the United States met with Kathleen Sebelius dozens of times leading up to the rollout of Obamacare, why did he say a few days beforehand it's going to work like Amazon? I mean, he clearly didn't know. So if he was meeting with her, then she was not telling him the truth. And if he wasn't meeting with her, it shows that he's disengaged. But the other thing is, look, this report that's been put out by Peter Schweitzer and the Government Accountability Institute, it shows that there are 277 meetings recorded in the public schedule by the Department of Energy, the Secretary of Interior, the Secretary of Health and of Education, the Attorney General. But she's not on there. So why? Why are her meetings not on the public record? And if there are all these mysterious meetings took place, why don't they come out and tell us? Why don't they look in the Outer Oval logs and report it to the American people so we can know? And if it's a good story for them, then the story's over.
Yeah, now that it's become a deal, you would think they'd check their handy reference material and just let us know. It's simple math from the sound of it. Marc, thank you.
Exactly. Thank you, Megyn.